right, Seddrick Hill here, your city manager. We are at the Presbyterian Home for Children, and we are with our CEO,
Doug Marshall.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the Presbyterian Home.
Absolutely. Well, first I'm going to say, the Presbyterian Home for Children, our home is Talladega.
Right.
And so we're very proud. We actually, this is our 155th year of serving at-risk and homeless children and families. We originally started in Tuskegee, but in 1891, we moved to Talladega, and we've been here ever since.
And that was the best move, though we love Tuskegee. And who do you serve and why do you serve them?
So we are a place of healing and provide a path of hope for at-risk youth, teenage girls who've experienced extreme trauma and or neglect, so they're in the custody of DHR. Okay. And so we're helping them move down that path of healing and hope. We also work with homeless boys and girls from baby to age 18 along with their female caregiver, their mom, or maybe a grandmother. A lot of great places in Alabama for homeless women, not so much for women and children. Gotcha. And so we have that. We also have what's called transition to adult living. So this is all transitional housing. So we have that, and that we're providing that place of healing and hope for young female adults in crisis, so age 19 to 24. Now we also serve off campus, and in addition, so it's all happening here. This is our home base, but we have what's called family bridges, and so this is intensive in-home services in 7 counties, including Talladega. And so we're going into the home, and we're trying. This is under DHR, and so we're helping them keep the family together, so preservation, and we're trying to help bring families back together, reunification. And so again, we're impacting on and off campus, but our mission is really at-risk children and homeless children, youth, young female adults, and families.
And that's why it's so important for us to continue to do these interviews and promote what we have here in the city. I had no clue we were operating outside of this county and into 7 other counties. So that's amazing. And you talked about DHR, and who are some of the other partners? You said DHR and Talladega College. Who are the other partners that you're working with?
So we partner with Talladega College with respect to our young female adults that would be in crisis. Obviously, we work with the State Department of Education. We have Ascension Leadership Academy, which is a private school that we have at First Pres of Talladega. So we'll be working with them. But then also different nonprofit foundations that, such as Regions Foundation or Daniel Foundation of Alabama, and other, Alabama Power Foundation, that are partnering with us in different programs with respect to funding and helping us ultimately succeed in reaching those that are entrusted to our care.
And you never want to, all foundations, you got Alabama Power Foundation, you got Regions Foundation, but Daniel Foundation, they're tremendous in their work. They
are, and actually, they were one of the first that got involved with our Union Village. Okay. So, Union Village is a partnership between us and AIDB. So they're providing full wraparound program supports, but these are blind, deaf, or deaf-blind adults. So we're providing the housing. So we work very closely together to help them live in a permanent supportive housing at the back of our campus, a separate place, and we've got large cottages, including the historical President's Home, that now has like 6 or so blind or deaf individuals. But we're also building tiny cottages. Daniel was involved in the first 4, and now we're building another 6. And of course, those 6 are because the leadership of the city. We had funders, but the city was right there at the front, along with Regions, and the Presbyterian women of the USA coming together to help us co-fund these tiny cottages that blind and deaf adults are living in. And it's safe, it's affordable, secure. But what happens is the cash flows come back to help us take care of children.
Right. And for me, it was definitely important after being a product of Talladega College and then working there and then working at the Institute for the Deaf and Blind and then seeing the Presbyterian home do that.
Right.
It was so key to really bring that to council to support.
Absolutely.
And
We so are,
great partnership.
well, you are a partner, and we so appreciate it. So last week we had our board meeting.
Okay.
And so we had people from all over the state come in, and so we had it at AIDB.
Okay.
So that was the first time that we had done that, and so it was really wonderful. Dr. Massia spoke at lunch, and
Okay.
he interviewed a blind resident from Union Village and also a deaf resident with an interpreter.
Okay.
And so it was really wonderful to be able to hear them speak and how much they feel loved and secure, and that they just love being at Union Village.
Was it my buddy Jim Bob?
Well, Jim Bob is very well known. Jim Bob and I actually preached on a video together on Good Friday a couple of years, actually during the pandemic, in 2020.
Okay.
But we had Miles Trammell,
Okay.
and then also Dennis Williams.
Okay.
And so they ate with us and spoke, and it was really, it really reached to the heart.
Yeah. One of the key things that you did speak on is the importance of partnerships and also philanthropy. And so what would you tell the average person out there that thinks that they can't support, but they really can?
It is wonderful to have the support from foundations that come in and look at a particular program for a given year. But, since the beginning, and we were actually founded, the vote was taken to form us in Selma.
Okay.
At First Presbyterian Church. So for 155 years, who has ultimately supported this ministry to help us take care of children has been individuals.
Individuals, yeah.
I mean, that's they've been with us since the beginning, and now individuals throughout this community. Again, I tell whenever I'm out, I'm bragging on you guys because Talladega is the home for the home.
And you have this awesome piece of history, the Presbyterian Home for Children, 1864 to 1964, an historical collection by Alan C. Jacobs. And this was in 1964, so where did we go till today? How did we get to today?
Well, so our eighth president, Dr. Reverend Alan Jacobs, wrote this book, and it's a 100-year, collection of going from 1864 to 1964. As this is our 155th year of serving, we decided to republish this book as a second edition.
Okay.
And also do a sequel, so the next 55 years. And so we've been working on this for 2 years. And so it'll come out late spring or early summer.
Okay.
And we've been working with Tom Ward. He's a noted Southern historian. He was the author, co-authored it, the Alabama Bicentennial. This was the official book for commissioned by the Department of Archives. So he's been pouring over minutes, doing interviews of folks that have been alumni, whether they're in their 30s or whether we talked to some folks in their early 90s. But we come together to be able to do this sequel on the next, what has happened. We talk about Union Village. We talk about working in 7 different counties and going into the homes and helping keep families together and bring them back together. So we've had to change from an orphanage, which we were formed as an orphanage in the Civil War because of all the dead, but we've had to change to meet the pressing needs of youth and children in crisis.
So can you go a little deeper into that when Civil War and the kids were
So what you had is they took the vote and began to raise the money. Now this was, we were not unique. I mean, we're unique in that there's only one Presbyterian home for children in Alabama,
Right.
and we're unique that it's in Talladega. But what was happening across the country was, whether it was the Baptist, the Methodist, Episcopals, it was faith-based orphanage for the most part that were across the country that were being, but they were having to address the fact of all of the orphans that were in the country because of the war and everyone that was dead. So when we were formed, the first 3 children that came into care, here's the story. The president of the home and a board member heard that there were 3 orphan children by themselves. And so they went by horse and carriage to this home. And when they got there, they found them, and they had no food, no clothes, no anything. And so they brought them back, and that was the beginning of the Presbyterian Home for Children. And then so later, what you had is the government got involved. And so that's where you have DHR and Department of Human Resources and their oversight, and so they were able to put funding and needed regulations and so forth. So there you have the foster care system. Okay, so roll forward, we're still working side by side with DHR, but we also have ministries that are apart from DHR. Such as our secure dwellings. So again, homeless boys and girls and their moms. Now DHR knows what we're doing, and they're very appreciative, but it's just not under their oversight.
This is, as you continue to listen, this is a serious PBS documentary that needs to be done here. It's just amazing. We always talk about, when I started, restoring a sense of pride to our city and to the community. But the Presbyterian home is so much, it's even bigger than that, because you're restoring a sense of pride to families, better quality of life, and you don't stop when they're 18. The wraparound services is just tremendous. So,
in all of these, at the end of the day, it's about hope, and without hope, people give up. And so we have, I'm like a mirror. I'm reflecting the love and compassion of my staff and leadership. I mean, I'm a new kid on the block, 5 years, okay? I mean, I've got staff here 35 years, 40 years, that they have been called their entire career to help serve. And so that's to love them, but they also have the training to be able to deal with the trauma and the crisis and so forth, that whether it's a child or a mom. And of course we're doing the same thing with blind and deaf, but that's coming, those services are coming from AIDB. We're be able to provide the physical structures to house them, and then they continue to provide those, again, at the end, everything that each one needs to become independent and move down that path of hope.
All right. With such great work, sometimes you get rewarded or awards once you're long gone, or they have to bring you back to receive an award. But let's talk about what you just received, which is just top tier.
Right. I appreciate you bringing that up, because we're very excited and proud. It did take a team effort. So last Friday we had a press release. So Charity Navigator, that is the largest evaluator of nonprofits in the country, and one that's pretty well known. Very well known. And so we were awarded 4-star. So that is the top ranking that you can get for a nonprofit. Only 25% of nonprofits in the country get 4-star. And so this is the best of the best. And so they're looking at financial transparency, accountability, sustainability, governance. Those are the main ingredients of that. And so so we had a press release on that. It's really big news for us. It's just another source of credibility of the behind the home. it can open up more doors, as you know, with other foundations and beyond Alabama.
Right.
Before that, we got a gold seal of transparency from Candid. So that's the top, ranking. And then that follows the last couple of years. We have 2 accreditations. One is by, it used to be called the Committee on Accreditation. Now it's called Social Current.
Okay.
But this is the largest accrediting body for nonprofits in the country. And so we're accredited. It took us like 2 years. It's very difficult. We're also accredited by Eagle. Now, Eagle is part of the United Methodist Association.
Okay.
It's not something that Presbyterians or Baptists have. The Methodists have it. But it's faith-based. It's a faith-based, and it's the only accrediting body in the country for ministry to children and even older adults. I'm on the Eagle Commission and the UMA board, but we are actually, in addition to our core ministry and what we're doing, we're involved in accrediting other children's homes across the country. So I spent time in Jackson, or actually Ridgeland, last fall, and led an accreditation team of Sunnybrook Children's Home. That they're celebrating their 60th year. So from this location, we are, yes, we're impacting 7 counties with families, but we're also impacting other children's ministries and helping them to succeed in their calling as well.
Okay. And before we move on to our next location, what are some things you believe the city can do to continue to push the mission forward and help?
Well, the city has been incredible in just being here for us when we have issues and problems and just trying to work through things. And we just know that you guys are in our court, and that goes a long way. The leadership that the city provided with respect to Union Village, that opened up all kind of funding from other sources. Okay. And so again, safe, affordable housing for the blind and deaf, but then those rents coming back to help us take care of children. So, we're looking forward to dedicating. That's going to be, we've dedicated before and we had groundbreakings, but this is going to be the biggest one with 6 and obviously the city involved.
We look forward to the gold shovel.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think we know that when we call, y'all are going to pick up the phone and y'all are, whatever the problem is or the opportunity, that you're going to work alongside us and help us for the greater good.
We're back again with the Presbyterian Home and CEO,
Doug Marshall.
And we have been to some thrift stores, but none like this one. Now, you can talk about things from grand pianos, clocks, but tires?
Off-road tires, 4-wheeler tires, nearly new. And so that we have a current shipment of these kind of coming all the time. And so we can't keep these hardly in stock.
This is, and the great thing about it is in the world of philanthropy and fundraising, it's always great to have donors and all of those things, but sometimes you have to diversify your revenue. And tell us how you're doing that.
Okay, so that's exactly what we've had a thrift store for a long time, but it was small. It was on the campus, and so it was kind of a go big, go home, right? The home. And so we moved, opened up in October 15th. This is the old Fred's.
Right.
And so we got 16,000 square feet of sales floor. And so, yes, you see the tires, but we've got women's clothes, we've got lamps, we've got furniture, we've got stuff for the kitchen, we've got baby clothes. I mean, we've got everything from tires, antique clocks, women's clothes, furniture, and everything in between.
And the thing, what's so great about this is we are in the midst of growth. And one thing we want to do is fill up our shopping plazas. So not only is the Presbyterian Home here and helping, they're also investing right back into the community in this way. And we can't be more thankful than that.
So we're bringing customers from surrounding communities, and they're coming here to check out the thrift store, shop, and spend money, and eat at Customs. We are the largest U-Haul dealer in this area.
Okay.
So we have that. You know, we're pulling stuff, a lot of stuff from Birmingham. We're about to set up something where we'll pull from Huntsville, Mobile, potentially Montgomery. But we pull a lot of state sales, so it's very unique items at great prices that you just can't find anywhere. We want all the thrift store shoppers that shop in Pell City and Gadsden, Anniston, Oxford, you know, all to get over here and check out what we have.
Right.
Because we've got this endless supply of unique items and clothing and furniture and really cool stuff at great prices. You got to come check us out.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it, and we are continuing to restore a sense of pride to the city of Talladega, and we thank the Presbyterian Home for being here, for being a partner, and we as a city will continue to support.
We so appreciate the city and you and leadership.
All right.